What's up everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you a little bit of a playstyle guide on how you should be playing aggressive. I'm going to show you some of my professional tournament games that I've been playing lately where I've been going pretty heavy on the aggression. We're going to focus on two different plays. The one being feudal aggression into an all-in where we win in the feudal age. And the one where we're going to play feudal aggression and then age up into a push or some timing, right? So two different styles, the feudal in and the tech timing, the fast castle or whatever you want to call it. So basically what you want to think about when you are looking to play aggressive is don't immediately decide in the game that you want to go all in. You typically have a point in the game where you're always going to be making a decision between staying in feudal or going castle. Most castle plays are going to be around 11 to 13 minutes. That's when you're going to go to the castle age, upgrade everything, and that's always going to be on the back of an extended feudal. So if you're going to fast castle, that's typically 7 to 9 minutes that happens. But if you're going to go standard castle with units and stuff to upgrade, that will happen at around 12 minutes. So look for that in your games. Don't stay in feudal until 15, 16 minutes, then you're just too far out if you're looking to make any kind of timing. Because then it's just baboon play, basically. Anyways, that's the castle timing. The feudal timing is one where you know that you're playing a civ that has a certain power spike, such as the Ottomans here. The Delhi also have a power spike, but this is one of those matchups that are incredible for Ottomans, and it is an incredible matchup, and I think it's specifically for this reason. It's because of not only the free production and the extra food that you have in your base, it's also because your units are really good, and because you have the smaller power spikes buffs to your economy and to your units that other civs don't. So in this example, it is going to be Anatolian Hills that gives us extra food and gather rate into imams and the metas that give us an extra armor upgrade, basically, in terms of giving us ranged armor or 2 melee armor. That's a really, really good power spike that you can look for. If you were playing with the French, it could be taking a fight and then healing your knights up again after you dealt a lot of damage to your opponent that can't heal. That's a power spike too, because the next fight you're going to be taking is going to be with healed up units, right? Where your opponent has damaged units. For Delhi, it can be a lot of units coming out with double production and free gold being converted into resources by using a market. There are so many of these instances. Byzantines using mercenaries, that power spike is like an instant power spike, kind of similar to the AoE 3 pop, where you get a lot of units at once and then you do something, right? Those are all kinds of feudal age timings that you should be looking for. All civs have them. For HOL, it would be running demi-lancers in feudal together with a lot of units, where you all of a sudden spawn out 7 or 9 or 5 demi-lancers. There's so many examples of this. Now, here in this game, I'm just going to speed a little bit through here the early game. What we've been doing here is just a double military school opener, because there's always some downtime against Delhi. And so what we're looking to do is essentially just exploit the fact that Ghazi Raiders are really good. By using Ghazis, not Ghazi Raiders, what am I talking about? Sipahis. So Sipahis being really good, and I would say probably the strongest sort of non-knight unit in feudal age. Is probably the best feudal age unit after Royal Knights. The blacksmith, of course, giving us extra production, and we're just going to start off with a spear Sipahi opener here to deny sacred sites, which is the dynamic of this matchup. Whenever you play against Delhi, what you want to do is you want to delay and deny their sacred sites. So typically you want to try to deny them sacred sites for about 3 to 4 minutes. Typically at about 11 to 12 minutes, like I mentioned before, you're then going to go all in, or you're going to go feudal age aggression. So here in the early game, we're just using our mobility from our Sipahi, and then we're going to try to deny sites to the best of our ability. Here, as a part of this feudal age aggression, something you should be very aware of, and this is a key takeaway, is the control of the enemy units. So a lot of the times you will be playing with fewer units, or you will be able to control, in some instance, through raiding or just leading units into corners and stuff, your opponent's army, and that is a way for you to take better trades. So if I have 2 Ghazi Raiders and a scout here, and that's one Sipahi leading them away from everything else, then he has 2 fewer Sipahi here, and I only have 2 fewer Gauzerators, and I only have 1 less Sipahi. So that's already going to put me in a better position, and especially in theoretical situations where, let's say, you have equal amounts of units, equal resources, then you would definitely see this as a really good move that can help tilt fights into your favor. Doing the same thing here again, and then moving out into the middle here in the moment. So you can see how there's these raids going on all the time. This is an essential part about playing feudal aggression, is you want to always look for reinforcements to cut off. You want to take a small amount of units and pull a large amount of units and put them to corners and stuff so they are displaced and away from you. And then you want to group up a larger army together for like a push or for a fight or anything that can help you get favorable odds, right? So here we're going Tricomp because he went Spear Horseman. We're going to go for Spear Archer Horseman. And we're just going to decap these sites here. So already now we're kind of thinking about, okay, we are set up basically for the Feudal Age. We're just pumping units constantly. This is where Feudal Age aggression, a lot of people fail at the Feudal Age aggression because they're not spending their resources. So that is a little bit of a lower level takeaway, but it's definitely still true even to a semi-pro level, that a lot of people forget about spending their resources. You should try to practice that so that you're never taking a fight with a big bank, and so you're just doing damage all the time with as many units on the field as possible. So that's the second part of Feudal Age aggression. The third part of Feudal Age aggression that a lot of people are getting wrong is dealing with villagers, doing damage, all these kind of things. We basically have a way of thinking about it, which is we always want to take out our opponent's army because that allows us to do more eco damage. So try to take good fights before you do eco damage. If you're trying to kill vills and you're taking damage from a full army, you will lose your army. And yes, you will have kill some vills, but it doesn't matter because now they can just go and kill you because you have no army. So once you have dealt with the enemy's army, you want to first off kill the vills that can be killed. But if you can't kill vills, then you should try to deny resources instead. So if you're playing against the gold heavy civ, deny the gold. If you're playing against the wood heavy civ, keep attacking into their wood line to deny them wood access. If they have run out of food under the TC, go out, patrol the berries, patrol the deer. These are essential parts of playing good Feudal Age aggression. And that leaves us with just one more thing to talk about when it's about Feudal Age all in. So if you are in a position like this, where you push your opponent back to their base, this is a really good situation to try to think about going Castle Age or going Feudal in as well. Castle Age because now you're pushing your opponent, and now there's a really long distance between your base and them, and they have to continue to make units until they can break out. So them breaking out will cost more than it will cost you to box them in, basically. But if you want to go full Feudal all in here, then smashing your army into the TC without a very clear advantage is not the way to go. Keep poking and prodding around their base, trying to find damage, and then get your Powerspikes going. Here's our first Powerspike, the meta. So this is going to give us 15% attack speed, or 2 melee armor, or 1 ranged armor. These are crucial upgrades, basically, to get. Especially in a situation like this, where I don't have any armor upgrades. So I'm very late on my armor upgrades. I'm going to get them now. Get ranged armor. Never push without ranged armor. Ranged attack. If you have ranged units, always goes for these 2 first. Don't prioritize the melee ones. Always get ranged armor first. Now comes the second small Ottoman Powerspike, the healers. So you get 2 imams. They have AoE heal. That means that they heal units in a circle around them. So you want to use those. Do AoE healing. That's a really good Powerspike for us, because just as well as the Delhi player can heal with their scholars, we can heal with our imams. Now, we only have them as long as we have them. If we lose them, we can't make them again in the Feudal Age. And so, if you're going to do one big push with imams, there's a very large chance that you're going to lose them. So if you're going to lose them, make sure you do enough damage for it to be worth it, because you did spend a whole Vizier point on that and not an additional military school. This is something that you would pick instead, the military school, if you were going to play for a longer feudal, or you would go imams if you're going to go castle age, or you would go military campus and then castle age, and then just produce the imams out of a mosque. So here, this is where we're really going to see that Ghazi Raider's strength, the Sipahi's strength, is because they have such a long range. They have a 1.75 tile range, where Ghazi Raiders have 0.29 tile range. So that's a massive difference. That means that our Ghazi Raiders can attack from behind our units and then do damage. So you'll see me here switching the spears into the front and using the Ghazi Raiders behind. I have melee armor currently switched on, and we'll switch to ranged armor in a moment once I've killed all of the melee units. And then you might say, well, this looks pretty even, doesn't it? Well, not really, because I've got healing and I've got Sipahi, and they're incredibly strong. Plus 11 units in his army are scholars, and they're not all pulled either. They're producing units. So I take a really good trade here by focusing down the spears. The Ghazi Raiders are attack moving, and now they're onto the archers, and then the spearmen are trying to focus the Ghazi Raiders. Now, I don't have an overwhelming force here, some would say. I think I do, and enough to idle out the whole wood line. You'll see his income plummet as I do this dive here, and I'm healing up my units with these imams. If I was a better player, I would do the damage that I could, and I would pull away my imams now. But of course, in the heat of the battle, trying to macro everything correctly, spending all my resources going out on deers while I'm also managing reinforcements and getting all of these units correctly positioned in these fights, sometimes you might just go ahead and lose key units like that. So the imams are unfortunately going to die in this push. But so be it. I do so much damage. I haven't killed a single villain yet, right? I'm still killing his army. And that's because right now, his workers aren't doing anything anyways. They're still displaced. So they're dead eco, you could say. They're just dead weight, not really doing anything. And if I kill all of his archers, then basically I can just kill the rest of the villagers that can't be garrisoned. So that's my logic here. Now, if you think that's correct or not, that's up to you. But I've been finding it to work quite well in these all-in pushes here. Now, all-in pushes are inherently risky. And so it's really dangerous to do them. It's always probably a better idea to play safe unless you're comfortable with going for a push. But as you can see here, we were able to kill 11 villagers, and with military schools and him only having this one site that I didn't decap, we're really, really far ahead. His income is near zero, and it'll take a long time before he will be able to catch up again with double production, and I don't think he ever will. In a situation like this, I think it's theoretically impossible. So this is kind of where you could say, should I go castle or should I stay feudal? And I think if you have already killed this many vills, if you've already taken out a massive chunk of his army, and you're denying resources, and you can continuously deny resources, there's absolutely no reason for you to go castle, because you don't need a tech advantage to win. If you need a tech advantage to win, to potentially take a good fight in the 30 seconds that you might have a tech advantage, sure, go for it. But we've already killed his entire army. We would need to go castle age if we didn't kill his army and we lost all of our units while we tried to kill his vills. I hope that makes sense, but at least that's how I think about it. So we just make a big army and then we go for round 2, basically. That's our logic here. The game's gonna end here in a moment. He does the right thing, which is to start raiding me when he's behind in units. This is a really good thing to do. You want to attack your opponent on their economy when they are in this downtime period that I'm in right now, where I'm remassing, sorry. And raiding the opponent's eco is a really, really good way to get back into the game. Unfortunately, he's lost too much already here, so yeah, props to him for this play here. It's just not enough. So now, again, we're going to full idle things. We're going to kill his army, and we're going to win the game right here. So round 2 is usually where your opponent surrenders. If they don't surrender, then kill as much as you can, go out, and then go castle age or make your rams, right? Round 2, and having done this much damage, it's really only the surrender button that your opponent needs to click. If they don't, and they stay in the game, just finish them off with rams or something if you've already gotten to this point. So yeah, that's how you play the feudal all-in, and the considerations that you have to make. The second game we're going to take a look at is going to be an example of going feudal age units into castle age. So when you do that, you're usually operating off really good map control. You have a lot of units, and so you will not die by going castle. So you have to be up in your opponent's face. You have to give them the impression that you're doing kind of a feudal age aggression thing. You have to force them to make units if you're going to look for this kind of tech timing. And it's a really, like, especially for new players, tough thing to do because you don't have any idea of how it should feel and how it should look. This is where analyzing pro games comes in handy. You want to see it play out. Try to look for that good play where they're doing some damage, taking out a bunch of units from their opponent, denying resources, and then they go castle behind it. Thus, they will upgrade their units, get new units, and able to take relics and just get an eco boost that way. And then they can go for an attack with just better equipped units, more armor, both armor upgrades and armored units, and more damage output on their archers, which is a huge thing and something you should always think about when you go for these tech timings. So if you're gonna go for a fast castle timing, or not a fast castle timing, it would then be feudal age aggression into castle age, so tech timing. If you're gonna go for tech timing, what you have to think about is if you're gonna go tech timing because you're running range units, if it's a lot of archers you're upgrading, you can kill any feudal age unit. There's not a feudal age unit that can fight against upgraded vet archers. Archers are just that OP once they're upgraded. And that's why if you're running like 30-40 archers, you should always try to get a tech timing, because that's when you're really gonna hit hard. Feudal age archers versus castle age sucks though, and that's what you want to avoid. The other situation where you might go castle is to unlock new units. Now, these aren't exclusive. You can do both, as I'm going to do here, but you can unlock new units. Here, we're going to unlock men-at-arms and elephants, and we're going to have some unique upgrades for those, and they will be our meat shields for our archers. That's basically the strat. We want to run a small front line with a huge back line doing a lot of damage. That's our goal. But first, we have to get to that point. We can't just make units and go up, right? We need to take the sacred sites first. We need to take good fights as well. We have to get a clear advantage. So we're using double production here to make a lot of units. We are up against warrior scouts, and then there's going to be some units as well, and we are just focusing on taking sacred sites. So we're starting off with double production building, and with the efficient production upgrade as well. We can then put a scholar inside and produce really, really fast. Then we are gonna just try to deny the pro scouts that our opponent is going for. And yeah, you might not deny everything, but you will force out units and such. And this is already a good position for us because we are ahead in military. So being ahead in military at this point, you can see the army value. There's a big difference. That means that we can very comfortably go out for sacred sites now. So we have sent out our scholars, and we're going to go for the sacred site right as the sanctity comes through. We're going to have our scholars parked on top of the sacred sites. This is just, you know, standard stuff when you talk about feudal age aggression. Understand your civ and what you're supposed to do, and then do that really well. This is where you want to practice your builds so that you aren't held back by a bad build. You want to have all of that stuff figured out already so that you only have to focus on microing. Everything macro and stuff should just happen automatically, and if it doesn't, macro exercises are great. And if you struggle with micro, there's lots of micro tools to use as well. And scrimming with someone is also a good way to get better at micro, but inherently get good at macro first. Anyways, so now our opponent is contesting a bit, but when you have a small but larger mass like this, you can often take really good fights here. Now, I miss micro a little bit, so I lose one of my Gauss Raiders, unfortunately. So that was not supposed to happen. This guy was not supposed to charge in again. So I could have won this, killing all of his 3 Donsos, and then heal up my 2 damaged Gauss Raiders. But again, I lost one, and that is what it is. I still think I took a good fight here. So now we clean that up. We can go back to taking the sacred site, and we can have this scholar here heal this Gauss Raider, and then we can take good fights over here instead. So now we're going to go into an archer range. We're going to go out on the map. It's important that you don't eat your sheep. So when you do feudal age aggression and you have the map control, this is a key takeaway, I think number 4 now. Don't eat all your sheep before you go out on the map. This is the most common noob mistake I see when people play feudal age aggression, is they will eat all the sheep, then go out on the map, and then they'll be behind in military or something, and then wonder how they're going to get back into the game. You're not. Without food access, you will die. So have this as a backup food source. It's so crucial. So plan ahead, go out on the map. Don't be afraid to spread out a bit and have someone this berry, and then just a little bit on the sheep, right? Eat the map before you eat your safe resources. If you're taking deers, that's really nice. Eat the deers, give you a high gather rate, but the berries give you the same if you're playing a berry civ. So don't be afraid to take the berries first before you eat the deer. If you're playing a berry civ, that is. If you're not playing a berry civ, then you should probably still play for the deers in your base because they're high gather rate. Alright, so now we kill a couple more Sofas. Our destruction value is 3 times our opponent. Our army value is twice as much. And yeah, the only thing that's different is our economy. It's roughly the same. So yeah, it's a good situation, obviously. We're getting all the technologies free, and now we're making a market. So you kind of make a decision when you play as Delhi. This is what I spoke about before. Using the market is a great way to get your gold spent. You want to get more scholars, obviously, but you can also use your market to balance gold floats from sacred sites, and then use that gold to buy more resources and get more units that way. That's a good way to pump up your economy. We don't need to do that here, though, because what we're doing is we're looking for that timing going to the Castle Age. First off, though, we need to start our Pro Scouts. So we have started Scouts now. We're going to get our Pro Scouts in a couple seconds, and then we're going to start taking the deers back. So this is something that you should also practice, this timing, that about 10 minutes you will have your Pro Scouts. That's a good thing to remember, that if you are queuing up upgrades correctly, then in 10 minutes you have Pro Scouts. You can take your Scouts out and then start taking the deer. Be careful with raids like this. Just send a couple of units. Don't send your whole army back. Big mistake. And if you send your whole army back, you lose the game. Keep your army in the front. We want to keep these sacred sites because they are 125 gold per minute for us. And we don't want to lose that, for sure not. So we take a good fight here. Keep our Gauzy Raiders behind. Spears are tanking. Here comes some reinforcements. And this is another cleanup. And he's going to have to run back now, and he can't do that. And so, yeah, good situation for us. Obviously, we've now started walling the bottom site. And, yeah, like, we are in a clear, I would say, very, very clear and understandable advantage right now, unit-wise. Not only by taking these fights, it's clear to us that we are ahead, but we can obviously also see it with our God Vision. Even without that, we would be able to tell that we are ahead and that we can now go for the Castle Age. This is about that time that I was talking about. 11 to 12 minutes to 13 minutes is when you should be looking for the Castle Age. And so that's what I'm going to start doing in a moment. So, taking the deer. Now I'm macroing up the Castle Age. You can see my splits are like this now. I'm getting all the gold from the sacred sites. I have walled the bottom sacred site, so I don't have to have units down here, and then I just keep my main army around the top one. That's going to be enough defense, so I don't have to spend more on walls. So positioning here is key. I don't know why on the minimap it shows us the sacred site is not captured. That's a bit weird. Yeah, it does show now. Okay, just need to get updated. Cool. So now we can go ahead and we can take another good fight. We're Hing up at the same time, and that's just to show, goes to show that once you're far ahead, you can do an investment like this and still take good fights if you go about it correctly. And yeah, like if you're this far ahead, I think it's obvious that you should just H up. You could also go for a Feudal all-in here. Again, sometimes both of those are correct. I do think, however, that some civs, like Delhi, definitely gain a whole lot more from a Castle Age timing, because all the technologies are free. So if you have a lot of scholars, and we have just 7 scholars, not too many, obviously. We are producing more. But if you have a lot of scholars, like all these texts will come in quite quickly. It's not uncommon to have 10 scholars at this point. Yeah, I think another thing with Delhi is once you've kind of played out a long feudal, you kind of feel bad, right? I've definitely experienced this quite a lot in these ultra long feudals. When you start running out of food and you don't have Castle Age, it sucks when you can't build keeps and start booming. It sucks when you can't get your eco upgrades, tier 2 eco upgrades. There's a lot of stuff like that that you want to avoid. And so I would definitely recommend, if you can, off a clear advantage, then go castle. You have to be really like just in a good position where you can deny resources.
if you want to play full feudal in, which is not really the case if you play against Malians, because they can just eat cows out of their mills, right? So even if he ran out of food, like he is kind of doing here, it's still gonna suck, because they can eat cows and you will run out of food eventually. So some civs you definitely don't want to play long feudals against. So that's what I'm avoiding here by going up to Castle Age. So yeah, now I'm in Castle. I will queue an elephant now, and I will get my archers upgraded. That's my priority. Then I will also start taking relics. Now I made a mistake here of not having the scholars on the relics immediately, but I think that was because I was microing a bit here. And then I'm going to start queuing upgrades. I'm going to get my archers upgraded first with the range increase. And then I will go for Kilish and Mahouts. So this makes my elephants faster, and this is basically a +3 damage increase on my lancers and men-at-arms. Then I'm going to start making lancers, men-at-arms, archers, and elephants. So it's really gold heavy and food heavy, but that's absolutely fine because I have so much food access. Then at the same time, I'm also pushing a bit here, which I don't think is that good of an idea to do. Just do it as long as you think it's going to make sense. Obviously here, I don't think it makes any more sense because I don't want to lose these archers. I want to upgrade them. As long as I'm fighting against javelin throwers, this is not going to feel too good. And again, I just need to keep the sacred sites. I don't need to kill him right now. My new units will do so. So yeah, elephant coming out of the stable now. This has obviously scholars inside. He goes out too far here, and so he can only attack move now. It's a bit hard to micro javelins. So yeah, obviously this is a decent engagement for me. I think I do kill enough javelins here for it to be worth it. They're quite expensive. And then I go back now. So, yeah, what can I say? Elephant's gonna come through now. We are producing men-at-arms. Taking the relics. These are basically 2 villagers each. And in Imperial Age there will be tithe barns, and I think they become the equivalent of 4.5 bills. So they're really important to take. Obviously, they're a nice eco boost without having to go 2TC. Yeah. And now we're making men-at-arms, archers, lancers, queuing up all the upgrades. And then we're just going to go for our tech timing. He gets Castle Age as well, but again, he's lost too many units, so we can't really lose. In this moment, you just want to dive your opponent. He went for the Farimba here, so that tells me he doesn't have any cows. That means that if I push him, he's not going to be able to continuously produce units. If he had cows, let's say 20 cows here, then he would definitely be able to continue to produce units, and his survivability would be much better. So yeah, just push here with a nice tech timing, doing full damage. Almost full damage. I still missed some upgrades. And yeah, game is pretty much over here. Spread out the units, deny the resources. And there's not a lot more to say than I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the difference between these two modes, playing full feudal aggression into an all-in or feudal aggression into a castle timing, if you have any questions on that, let me know in the comment section below. Hope this video has been useful for you. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.